Welcome to the Fritz Hot Zone Show with Mr. Fritz. Thanks for joining me today. Hope your day has been going well so far. Another windy day here in the valley, but not as hot. Currently 72 degrees. Very pleasant. Today, July 17th, is the 7-year anniversary of when the Carlton Complex Fire burned a portion of Pateros. And as part of this anniversary, 7-year anniversary, I'll be reading an excerpt from my recent book, Pateros Perspective, Past and Present, detailing my account of where I was and my experience with the Carlton Complex Fire. And also later on, I'll include some film footage and photos of the Carlton Complex Fire from July 17th, 2014. Warning. Some of the images you may see may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you. On July 17th, 2014, my employer, North Cascades Bank, held a wellness health screening at all of our branches, free of cost to employees with health insurance. I arrived at the Brewster branch at 7:30 a.m. to participate in the screening. We were allowed to be on the clock for this event, so I was paid to be there early. Yay! Our normal bank opening time was 9 o'clock a.m. I had a sample of blood taken for analysis and had the results mailed to me a week later. The needle prick in my arm didn't hurt. Side note, my cholesterol and triglycerides were normal. I was also weighed and had my height recorded. A light breakfast was provided afterward in the employee break room, since we had to fast for 12 hours prior to having the blood drawn. I ate a banana, blueberry muffin, and drank some orange juice. On this day, my work uniform consisted of black slacks, black dress shoes, and a short sleeve button-up light blue dress shirt. I ate my lunch in the break room with food I brought from home in a plastic lunchbox, as I normally did. On this day, I ate a peanut butter sandwich, leftover Spanish rice from last night's dinner, applesauce, and a bottle of water. We had a constant flow of people come in the branch throughout the day. The time went by quickly. My teller station was in the lobby, closest to the front entrance doors. The Sirius satellite radio station was set to the coffee house station. This channel featured acoustic versions of well-known songs. Nice selection. Throughout the day, the sky changed and became darker. What started out as a clear and sunny day had progressed to an eerie shade of black and orange, blotting out the sun. I joked with my boss, Jody, that Halloween had arrived early this year due to the color scheme. What we thought were clouds turned out to be smoke in the sky. We had no idea what was occurring in the Methow Valley with the excessive spread of the fires. Even though our regular closing time is 5 o'clock p.m. on Thursdays, we had a steady stream of people stop by to stock up on spending money and to cash their payroll checks. I ended up leaving the Brewster branch around 5:30 p.m. and headed home. Let's see. Scrolling down. Next page. Once I exited the building, I was hit with the strong aroma of burnt sagebrush and pine, but didn't think too much about the fires otherwise. Once I drove by the intersection of Highway 97 and Indian Dam Canyon, I looked to my right and noticed flames crest the hillside above the highway. The top of the hillside was about 3/4 of a mile from where I was. At this point, I still didn't think too much about the fire. I actually thought that the closest fire to Pateros had already bypassed the town, and we were out of danger. That was the wrong answer, as we all found out later in the evening. Once I arrived in Pateros, I stopped at my arcade, Fritz Hot Zone Gaming, and opened up the place for about 20 minutes, just in case someone wanted to stop by to buy a candy bar or comic book. No one stopped by to buy anything, so I closed up and went home to eat dinner. By this time, all but one of my arcade machines had been sold off. Those machines were sold in October of 2013. The ice cream chest freezer I had in the arcade was sold the weekend of July 12th, 2014. So I didn't have any perishable items in the arcade to worry about if the power went out. And I'm scrolling. Okay. For dinner, I ate top sirloin steak with A1 steak sauce, mashed potatoes, and peas. Yum. I had water to drink. I remember watching the national evening news at 6:30 p.m. No local fire coverage was provided. I didn't get online to check fire updates or view Facebook to see what my friends were posting. My aunt called us around 7 o'clock p.m. to inquire if we were all right or in danger. She had been following the news on Facebook and was listening to a police scanner. We didn't see any fire from our porch and could see some blue sky. The sky to our northeast was ominous and pitch black. Looked like a thunderstorm brewing, but that was all smoke instead. We thought we were safe. About 10 minutes later, the power went out. We lost the connection with my aunt because we were using a cordless phone, not the landline. Mom and I drove up to the high school to see what was happening. The Red Cross that had been set up earlier in the day to assist fire victims was packing up the resources because the fire had crested hill at the other end of town by the water towers and was approaching the vicinity. We drove back home and I started loading up my car with valuables just in case we needed to leave. I called my aunt on my cell phone around 7:45 p.m. and gave her an update on our situation and that we were staying. No sign of fire at our end of town. As a precaution, I moved my car from the garage and parked up by the tennis courts and started to walk back to the house. Just then, one of our neighbors, Clint McCoy, stopped by in his white pickup truck and asked if I knew anything about the fire. He and his wife, Carol, lived on Warren Avenue, 2 houses up from the tennis courts. He was going to drive up to the cemetery to see where the fire was in relation to us. I watched him drive up the hill behind our house on Riverside Drive and turned right onto Ives Street. He arrived about 5 minutes later and said that the fire had reached the cemetery and hillside behind the school and was coming our way. And scrolling. By the time I walked back to our house, I heard a sheriff deputy on a blowhorn announcing level 3 evacuations and to get out now, get out of the city now. He was driving around the block by the tennis courts. I called my aunt again at 8:50 p.m. via cell phone and said that we could see fire crest the hillside above our house and was moving down toward us. We were about to leave and would arrive at her place in a little over an hour, depending on traffic. We were going to take separate vehicles. I left at 9:00 p.m. The smoke was so thick that I couldn't even see my car hood or rear view mirrors. I had my high beams on and was going on instinct where Warren Avenue should be. Fortunately, the smoke cleared up a little bit by the time I reached the intersection with Highway 97. A police barricade was set up on the other side of the Pateros Bridge at the junction of Highway 97 and Highway 153 to keep people from entering the area. I went through the barricade and stopped about 2 miles south of town and waited for Mom. She drove by about 5 minutes later. I was relieved that she had gotten out of town safely. What an ordeal. The next morning, I noticed a circular burn mark about the size of a dime on my car hood paint, where a piece of hot ash landed during my evacuation. I later had the car hood repainted so rust wouldn't set in. My insurance covered the cost. Fires were reported on the afternoon of July 14th, 2014, burning east of the Methow River near Carlton, Washington. Lightning storms ignited 4 separate fires in the Methow Valley, and those 4 blazes converged the evening of July 17th, 2014, to form the Carlton Complex Fire. The initial fires were the Stokes Road Fire, a mile or 2 southeast of the small community of Carlton on the Methow River, the French Creek Fire, about 5 miles east of Carlton, the Golden Hike Fire, about 2 miles south of Carlton, and the Cougar Flat Fire, about 2 miles east of Winthrop, and more than 12 miles north of the other 3 fires. A hot summer had dried out the grass, brush, and timber in the steep canyons and ridges on both sides of the Methow River drainage. On July 15th, all 4 fires began to spread alarmingly. The Stokes Road Fire was considered the most serious, since it was threatening homes near Carlton. 7 homes along Texas Creek Road were ordered evacuated on the afternoon of July 15th because the fires were running through grass and timber. About 127 firefighting personnel were tackling the Stokes Road Fire. including a Canadian Air tanker.
With the Carlton Complex, I missed out on that one for the most part because I was away at university. So I just got to watch television, and then for the first few hours of when it started really moving fast, people would call me and let me know what was going on. And then the phones all fell silent because all communication lines in this area pretty much were destroyed. So couldn't find out what was going on for a while.
This looks pretty dark.
Wow. They're making us stop. Looks like it's not down here at the road though.
Holy crap.
They're gonna be busy. That's like a line. Oh my gosh. That is a line of fire. A ring of fire.
Look at this is daytime. How much smoke there is. And all those houses.
A line of fire.
It's been like 2 or 3 miles so far. That was after we were trapped. This is Alda Park here, I think. Is that what the name of this is?
It's a little resort. Alda Resort.
Listen. They're
The town.
They're evacuating the whole town. I can hear a loudspeaker.
Yeah, there's a top right over there. It shows.
Nice. Oh boy, I don't think we're going to be able to go the way we want to go. We want to go left.
Until next time, applesauce.